Welcome to this video from panic and pain in decision making to tenderness to ourselves, for ourselves. I am wondering if I'm going to talk to you about some difficult panic phases and self-loathing phases I went through in the last 24 hours and how I came back to some kind of tenderness. I would like to do that, and at the same time I'm noticing that I feel a bit slightly weak energetically, and I have a kind of a headache. So I'm just wondering if I can chill a bit before going into talking. So I think I'd like to invite us to do some moment of silence, just to greet ourselves where we are. I'm looking at my dog. I think she wants to go on the balcony. But I feel lazy. I don't really want to move to open the door for her decision making process. I'm saying yes to supporting her. Ok. Allez, viens ma chaya. Je vais t'ouvrir la porte. Here she goes. With the food. Okay. Take care of the dog. I'm taking care of myself by making some time to listen. I want to make some space to what we feel in our bodies right here, right now. I'm pulling my hair and it kind of hurts, but it also releases tension. So quite nice. I enjoy the warmth right here, right now. I went outside, had a nice walk, did my video in French, and now I feel regenerated. I felt some energy. I feel refreshed, even if my head hurts a bit. So, yesterday, this morning, last night, I had some moments where I went into self-loathing kind of panic phases where I was struggling with decision making and struggling with finding hope that I was going to care for myself in a way I like to care for myself in a respectful way. Um, I had some moments very difficult, and I'd like to share a little bit about it to support us learning and connecting to what helps us in similar situations. One thing I did that worked yesterday when I was hesitating between going before going to a dance workshop, 5 rhythm workshop, not exactly a workshop, a session, like just a time for dancing led by a woman who was DJing, putting some music on and leading us into the wave, the process, the dancing journey. I had registered to it, and I had some moments where I felt hesitant last night before going. I had another opportunity to go dance very close by to where I live, and I had to drive half an hour to go to these things I had booked. And so I was basically through a process that I wasn't really completely understanding, and that was painful. And through this process, I was feeling hesitant, doubtful that I was going to do, choose something that was going to lead to an improvement of well-being. It was like I was hopeless that I had the capacity to make a conscious decision that would be making sense to me. And one thing I did that helped was that I chose to open a note on my phone or computer and started to write. I call this document inner dialogue, and the intention was to listen to the different parts in me. One was saying don't go, another one was saying if you don't go you're going to regret it, and there was probably another voice, but that's at least the two voices that I identified, and I chose that I was going to give voice to one part and then listen to the other, but one thing at a time. So I started to write, but the part that didn't want to go to the dance session. And that's very interesting because a relief came out very quickly when I just named the thought that were going on for this part of me, the reasons for not going. Okay. And so, yeah, it came with a sense of relief. And then I talked about the part that was afraid of missing something if I didn't go. And for some reasons, this part worked. My phone said that I was low in battery. I don't know if the video was cut off for a moment or. So I think the last thing I said is that anyway, I want to take a few seconds to catch my breath. Writing helped to some level. And then what else? did help. At one point, I chose to go to this dance session, and I really loved that I went. It was very good. Um, I think at one point I asked myself, what would be the easiest decision I could make right now? Right now, that would be in the same time taking care of what's important to me. And when I asked that question, actually, I connected the fact that it felt easier to take my car and just go and trust that in the process I would enjoy the riding, the driving, and I would enjoy the possibility of, oh yeah, the one thing I did, which was I questioned myself, what could be the worst that could happen if I go to the work session, the dance session. And the worst that could happen, I wrote a few things about it. And when I wrote those things, it was like, oh, that's not such a big deal. Okay. So I was less afraid of going in some way. And that also helped in checking what would be the easiest thing to do for me was just to take a chance, to go and at least I would enjoy the driving and in the worst case scenario, it would be okay. So I chose to go and I really had a lot of fun, more than fun. It was just very healing and connecting and felt like I belonged. I was with people who were very showing a clear physical intelligence. I was really enjoying the way people were expressing themselves very differently, and it was awesome. I loved it, and I expressed myself a lot as well. I really really enjoyed it. Um, then there was other things that happened after the dance session and around decision making around sleeping at one place rather than another. I had three options for sleeping last night, and it was torture for this part of me that believes that I'm bad with decision making at times. When this part is awake in me, it could become hell very quickly in me. And so once again, what did I do that really worked? I think I listened to my body and I let my body choose to do what I wanted to do. So I chose to rest at the place that was the closest to the dance session. I was like 20 meters from the workshop. Uh, I was able to sleep there if I wanted to. So I at least I chose to go there. And initially it felt like it was really not fun because the dog peed on a carpet in the studio of my ex-girlfriend. Oh, and so anyway, there was a few things that happened. A woman arrived and she had lost her keys. She thought she had lost her keys in the workshop, and I was in the middle of dealing with this pee thing of the dog, and this woman arrived. She had no phone, no car, no keys, and she didn't know how to go back home. And if she could go back home, so I wanted to help her, but I was in the middle of something. So I chose to ask her to sit down in a waiting room for a second while I was dealing with this pee thing, and so I kind of took care of that, and I came back to her. Basically, I called her. She found the phone number of a friend of ours who had a double of the keys of her house, and finally we managed to reach through mobile and landline. We reached her friend, and she was reassured she could go back home. And in the end, her keys and phone was in her house. So anyway, but anyway, so life gave me a lot of things to deal with. It was interesting. I tried to chill and not going into stress, but to deal with one thing at a time. And in the end, I think I managed. It seems that I managed. And the woman thanked me today for helping her efficiently. But I still didn't have a very nice opinion of me. I was just still kind of identified with a thinking process in me that was really kind of self-loathing, and I think I was tired. I was in my head and not really kind of disconnected from the body, all the pleasure I had with the dancing. And so, but the thing that worked at one point is that I chose to rest in the studio and to write a bit, to watch a movie, and then I felt that the movie wasn't really, I wasn't appreciating it, so I chose to do something else. I don't know what I did, but in the end, when midnight arrived, I decided I was going to sleep there. I was ready to sleep. So the decision was made. And then the next morning I woke up and there was another thing around decision making. What do I do now? Do I sleep more with the risk that the dog might pee downstairs, or do I get up and go with the dog outside? I did that. I went outside with the dog. And then do I go back to sleep more, or do I go back home, or do I go out to my ex-girlfriend and see if we can just see a bit in a house? Long story short, all of these details are not necessarily very interesting nor important, but the fact is that I was again in this process of struggling to make decision. And once again, I want to ask what helped. I remember that at one point I was driving on the highway to my house. I went by the house of my ex-girlfriend and I checked WhatsApp, and it seems that she didn't read my messages, so I was assuming she was still sleeping, and I didn't want it to wake her up. So I chose to go back home, but still my mind was going on regretting and criticizing my previous choice. So it was like every step I was making a choice, there was something in me that was judging the fact that I made a choice. I think we all experience that at times, but so it was tiring. I was already tired for not having slept much. I had slept a bit less than 6 hours, and I was still driving home, and I was still my mind was going my mental was going like saying that I was basically having a shitty life and making shitty decisions. Oh my gosh! And at one point I said, okay, I'm suffering here. Can I be gentle with myself? And that's the thing that really worked for me. Asking me this question: can I be gentle with myself? And then there's something another thought that came up that was very helpful is whatever choice I make, that's the right choice because it's mine. That really helped too. And also that felt me I felt connected to my ex-girlfriend because I got this sentence from her, and she told me that a few times, and it really makes sense. Whatever decision you make, that's the good one because this is yours. So, can I be gentle with myself? Whatever choice I make, this is the good one because this is mine. So I went back home. I drove. Then I decided I wanted to have breakfast, so I had breakfast. It was very good to eat. And then I decided I was going back to bed after my breakfast, which I did. And I slept 2 or 3 hours, and it felt very good to wake up really refreshed. So that was tender. I had other moments today where I went into some kind of struggling again. I did do a lot of writing, and there was something that I was dreading to happen that actually didn't happen. Probably due to a misunderstanding, but the end result of it worked for me. Um, Whatever the other person understood and decided, the event didn't happen, and I was glad to be on my own to get more rest and to be, enjoying my own space. Um, that was a relief. Is there something else I want to tell about on the topic from panic to pain in decision making to tenderness? Um, Sometimes when we are in those moments, it could feel very lonely. and painful, and it's quite hard in those moments to reach out to. For me, usually in those moments, I don't think reaching out to anyone would really help. Um, the one thing that I'm trying to remember, and I think I tried to practice that today, which is to remember at any time in my life, it is always a good thing to share about how I feel. How I feel is never a lie. How I feel helps me to be in touch with myself. So if I give myself permission to share with someone how I feel, I know it is something that is at least helping me or the other to connect to our own humanity. So I try to practice that as well. Those are the things I shared. I think I shared a bit about uh, with Corinne on a WhatsApp. I let a voicemail. Um, did I? I'm not sure about this. I think I did share a bit. But what sticks to me is really this question of, can I be gentle with myself, and whatever decision I make, that's the good one because this is mine. And so the breakfast, the going back to bed, sleeping, and so the resting of the day. And earlier I had decided to go outside to walk and do my video in French. That helped my back, which was beginning to feel sore from being a lot of time in my bed, or on my bed, or on the couch today. And so going outside and walking really helped. I had a lot of resistance doing those videos, and choosing to do them on on the theme I just explored. Um, I feel grateful. I feel calm. I feel peaceful. Thank you for following me on this journey. Wondering how you are. If you want to share, welcome to do so. I love receiving comments. So if you want to comment, if you want to share, if you want to like, if you think this video could help someone and you want to share, please do. Thanks for watching. And if you got anything from it, I'd love to know. Bye.